So a U.S. student was recently hospitalized in Spain after he was gored and tossed by a bull during the Carnaval del Toro, which is the, I think, Carnival of Bulls. So Benjamin Miller, he's a 20-year-old Georgia resident, was celebrating at the Carnaval del Toro in Spain when he reportedly set out running alongside what turned out to be a really aggressive bull. Apparently these bulls get aggressive, guys. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, a photographer on the scene actually captured the goring, and it left Miller with serious injuries to his thighs, his sphincter, and also his back muscles. Look, this is a terrible story, and I feel horrible for him. And the person at fault here isn't the 20-year-old student who got injured. It's the fact that we hold on to traditional events like this that put people in danger. We're talking about animals that could get aggressive and that could hurt people. So the running of the bulls is not a good idea, if you ask me. Neither is bullfighting, anything that puts someone in harm's way for entertainment purposes. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think, though. Francis, make your point.
I'm just amazed because, like, you watch stuff like Jackass, right? And it's still become one of the focus points of our entertainment on TV. And the guy, like, it's Johnny Knoxville, will consistently run at the bull, and he'll never get injured like this. So I don't know what goes on. And this kid, obviously, it's studying abroad, I think, and he's just like, oh, I'm going to join in tradition. So you feel bad for him. Obviously, there's some traditions that if you've not been involved in it and you're inexperienced, you probably shouldn't run alongside the bull.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. There is a tradition that's mainly at fault, but he should be thinking, why would you don't run alongside it? Or, like, keep your distance. But I'm just amazed at how it's, like, unfortunate this one-off time he's done it, he's injured so badly when you see on television this is a big entertainment value thing where people do it.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I don't know if everyone gets this feeling when they travel, but for me, when I travel, I engage in riskier behavior because for some reason you feel like you're invincible. You want to experience things that you wouldn't otherwise experience in the States. So I can see why this 20-year-old probably had that invincible feeling. But at the same time, you're right. You kind of have to think it through before you do it. Hannah, what do you think?
Right. I think humans have this like superiority complex over animals. Like they can like tame the beast, and they don't realize like these are wild animals. Like they will act how they're going to act in the wild aggressively. It's the same thing when people go to Africa and like get out of their cars and pose with the lions and thinks that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Stupid.
They're wild animals. They're called wild for a reason.
Exercise some caution, guys. All right, so here's the question. Have you ever had a scary encounter with an animal? Hannah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back on what I just said because I was being really dumb with a wild animal. I was in Borneo and I thought it'd be a really good idea. We came across these orangutans in the rainforest and I wanted to feed them a banana. And so they'll come up to you and they'll take the banana from you. But I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna save this batch of bananas for another orangutan. Like, these animals are really smart. Like, he saw me put the banana behind my back. So I'm handing him one. And these are huge animals. And he takes his other arm and grabs around my leg. Like his whole hand grasps around my leg and starts pulling me into him. And I was like freaking out, screaming. The guides were screaming. And thankfully, like I just like threw the other banana at him and he like let go. But it was like for a moment, you're just like, oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Mortified.
So what I've understood from your trips is there's always something that comes up. I mean, do you need to take like a safety pack when you go anywhere? Like a kid? I don't know what's going on. Mine's was same thing again, my inexperience of being in LA and I was playing soccer, the ball went into the bushes and I ran in like anyone would just to pick up the ball and a rattlesnake was in the bushes in there and it kind of, I didn't know, I'm not a big snake enthusiast, but I could tell by the rattling tail it was not good. So I was like, all right, I need to back up and run back. So thankfully I didn't try to feed it like Hannah would do.
Wow. My experience with an animal, it wasn't a wild animal, it was a domesticated one. When I was younger, I think probably sometime in elementary school, my cousin had a beautiful pit bull, but I was like at that point where I was still scared of dogs. So all of my cousins were in the front yard playing with the dog, having a good time, and I was in the living room by myself, like miserable because I wanted to spend time with them too. And then finally my cousin's like, look, the dog's not gonna hurt you, come out, like hang out with us. So I was like, okay, you know what? I gotta face my fears, go out there and have a good time with them. I went out and dogs can sense fear, right? So the dog knew I was scared of it and it attacked me. And I just remember it going after me and then I started running inside and it grabbed my wrist and it was just biting my wrist as I was running into the living room. And thankfully, like, they got it away from me before he caused any real damage, but it actually cut open my wrist and I could see bone. And I was scared for my life. But the funny thing is my parents, like traditional Armenian parents, are just like, you'll be fine. Like, they didn't take me to the hospital or anything. I never got stitches, but I still have the scar. Can you see it right there?
Yeah, I can see it.
the scar
So
where the dog
let
bit
me ask, what has this done with your experience with dogs now? Because
I love dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love dogs. I was a kid and I didn't realize how much I love dogs until I got a little
one.
Chihuahua.
Yeah.
And then it kind of started small, and then I started liking bigger dogs and bigger dogs and bigger dogs, and now I'm an adult. You
Yeah.
know, you can tell when a dog poses a threat or a risk.
Yeah.
And so I'm just a lot smarter about those types of situations. Anyway, have you guys ever had a run-in with a violent pet, a wild animal? We do want to hear your stories, so comment in the section below, and we'll read those comments. If we like them, we might pick those comments and respond to them in a video.